Well, happy Monday, everybody. This is Doc Frost coming to you from Command Central here in Newmarket, New Hampshire. I hope all of you had a fantastic Thanksgiving. With all the limitations that we had about Thanksgiving, I kind of figured that at the end of the day, everybody was going to be able to come except for the turkey. Yeah, well, whatever. So anyhow, Module 6, lot to do. Module 6 is cram-packed. Don't want to freak anybody out, but a lot of stuff. So we're at that point. We are here in week 6. Unbelievable. 3 weeks left to go before the end of this great experience for you and I. So again, when we look at all of this stuff, what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. Take it like you eat an elephant, which is one bite at a time. Not that I've ever really thought about eating an elephant because, I don't know, what does an elephant taste like? Well, I digress. But anyhow, you look at 6.1 discussion, predicting and intervening. This is where the good doctor has an awful lot of experience in this particular matter because I have been a product of law enforcement culture now for, well, going on 40 years. So I can certainly relate to what this assignment calls for. And it's been really an interesting assignment for me to read from previous classes because it talks about, you watch the Milgram video, why smart statistics are the key to fighting crime. Respond to the following question. In your opinion, should decisions be made upon intuition and experience or based purely on data? I'm a qualitative person. I am not necessarily a quantitative person. But there is a place for quantitative analysis in almost anything to do with law enforcement. You need to look at what does the data tell you? What do the statistics tell you about offending patterns, demographic concentrations, etc., etc. So data is important. But I am still more of a qualitative person. So, for me, that would lend more towards intuition and experience. There's a lot to be said about having an informed decision-making process that is based on experience. Think about any job that you have had so far in your life, and where did you learn how to do that job the best? Did you learn it from a book, from a theoretical application? Did you learn how to do that job best from some sort of data or statistical analysis? Or did you learn the job best by doing the job and maybe doing it well and maybe having some unsuccessful attempts at doing that job? I think the latter will probably win out 99 out of 100 times. So again, you look at how they want you to respond. Look at the rubric. Remember, that is the measure that you are graded from. And I have to tell you that just since the beginning of class, with all of these discussion forums, and I know how much you love them, I have seen a marked improvement on the amount of material and how it is that you reference this. Now, remember, one of the things that we're looking for in your posting is some sort of citation, some sort of citable material that you can bring into it to make it look more academically sound. So again, you can refer back to and cite the video as an example will be a primary tool for that to happen. The other thing, and I know and I appreciate how much people have been stretching themselves with feedback given to other peers in these things. So I appreciate that. Keep that up. And for any of you that I have made reference to, you might want to offer a little bit more. I mean, just look at the feedback that you might be getting from others. That will give you some indication. There's Nicole and many others in this class that really offer substantial feedback on what it is that you write. And I know that I appreciate that. I appreciate getting feedback, and I appreciate giving feedback. So that is about the only fine tuning I have seen with any of you, is just, really offer that rich feedback to your peers. It does mean something, and it is meaningful. So then we look at 6.2, criminal prosecution. In this assignment, you will reflect upon the role and limitations of psychological theories in the prosecution of criminals. This is where we look at McNulton, I believe, is the case law that was used all the way up until we changed it in the 80s, the McNulton rule, which talks about, it used to be the prosecution's burden to prove that a person was sane at the time that they committed the crime. So then after the assassination attempt of President Reagan, they changed that, so now it falls on the defense. And I can tell you that the insanity defense is very, very, very rarely applied. And when it is applied, it is less than 1% successful. So it's a dynamic change since the 1980s. So when you look at what are the limitations of psychological theories in the prosecution of criminals, does a person's age impact their motivation or the chances of continuing criminal behavior? Some of you are not far removed from your adolescent years, from those years that your parent or parents said, oh my God, I wonder if this kid's actually going to make it. What a miscreant. Because what did you do? Excuse me. You took chances. You took a risk. You did dumb stuff. That is part of adolescence. We're supposed to do dumb stuff. And the point is to survive to adulthood so that we don't longer do that dumb stuff. So that's what they're meaning there when it talks about age. Think about your final project assignment. What limitations did you experience as you were developing your report? Can these limitations be addressed or rectified? Explain. So again, if anybody needs examples, if you're floundering in the dark and you're wondering like, oh my God, I have no idea what this whack job is asking me to do, contact me. One of the things that many of you have seen me do is when I read exceptional work, one of the things that I want to do is I want to be able to use that as examples for other students. So I've been doing that in this class and all my other classes, because some of you are visual learners. You learn best by seeing. As with this assignment that I was grading all morning today, your most recent assignment, when you look at that rubric, when you create those headers, boom, 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 biological, developmental, environmental, hypotheses, and theory application. Man, when you create those headers and then you put a couple of paragraphs, so some of you went well beyond a couple of paragraphs, and I appreciate that. When you do it that way, it's clean, simple, easy, and very navigable, which means I don't have to look all over the paper from all sorts of different angles to try to find this particular category that is consistent with the rubric. So I offer those examples. Many of you have really taken me up on that. And I want to continue to make that a point, that those will be available to you. And then you have the quiz on chapters 9 and 12. So, of course, you have to read chapters 9 and 12. Seems to make sense. We'll make the quizzes appear to make a little more sense. So let's see. What else? I appreciate the emails from people. Whether some part of life gets in the way of you being able to complete an assignment on time, or if you would like an example of a particular assignment to help you guide your development of your assignment, or any other thing. I mean, the texting, the phone calls, the emails, they're all welcome. They're all welcome. Because at the end of the day, if you don't reach out, if you don't ask for an example, if you don't ask for help before you start to do your work, you can end up where I've been several times. You can put a lot of effort and time into an assignment, hand that assignment in, and get it back from the professor and says, this isn't exactly what I was looking for. Now what are you doing? Now you're stuck doing the whole thing all over again. And I know this probably isn't your only class, so let's try to reduce any of the redundant work that we can. So that's why I believe in Covey's principle of beginning with the end in mind. So if you have questions, if you have doubts, if you have concerns, contact me. Okay? Now, one of the other things that you have to be aware of is we're going to start talking about some sexual and predatory offenses in this particular chapter. In the reading, it is graphic in its meaning, certainly graphic in its application. Now, it would be ridiculous of me to think that maybe a member of this class, like all of my other classes, has not been or has had the potential of being victimized, assaulted in some way. So I want to be really conscious about that. And this is really risk by choice. I want you to be safe. I want you to be kind. I want you to be considerate to yourself when you read this material, when you reference this material. And remember that the Wellness Center is always available, as I am. You can reach out to me anytime, and we can discuss these things. This is one of those areas, as a detective, I focused on for 4 years. I investigated the sexual assault, abuse, and neglect of children. Tough job. Tough job. I'm not patting myself on the back because it was a tough job. Lost an awful lot of my soul during those 4 years. A lot of bad things happened. Really. I mean, there was a lot of transference and stuff going on in those particular cases. But anyhow, that's about me, not about you. And this is all about you. Because remember, I work for you. You are the consumer. I work for you. You pay my salary. So with that in mind, reach out. Let me know. Contact me in whatever way you need to contact me. You are not a bother in any way. Ask lots of questions. Please. Please. So, wow, I've gone a little bit over. I apologize for that. So again, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you're still eating turkey. I am, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So let's see. I think that covers everything. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. Be safe. Be conscious. Be aware. And be mindful. So this is Doc Frost saying I appreciate all of you. So talk soon. Bye-bye.